While Universal Studios opened its first Orlando park in 1990, conversations about the company even being in the same category as Disney didn't crop up until its second edition, Islands of Adventure, opened on May 28, 1999. With 4 islands themed to different licensed properties like Marvel Comics, the characters of Dr. Seuss, and Jurassic Park, a 5th island themed to generic myths and legends took up the majority of the top right of the park. Featuring some of Islands of Adventure's most impressive attractions like the inverted coaster Dueling Dragons and the special effects walk through Poseidon's Fury, the Lost Continent was an odd addition to a park full of licensed attractions. While Universal Studios Florida was built with mismatched attractions neighboring each other separated into arbitrary areas like Hollywood and New York, the cohesion of Islands of Adventure's areas marked a shift in the industry. Themed areas weren't an entirely new concept, but the hyper-focus on building high-quality lands around fantastic attractions like Seuss Landing and Jurassic Park made Islands of Adventure stand out in the crowd immediately. While the park was built with no expense spared, with over $2.6 billion put into Islands of Adventure, City Walk, and 3 new hotels, lackluster marketing and consumer confusion around the resort's renaming to Universal Studios Escape made it harder to convert Disney diehards and succeed in overtaking the company. Over the next few years, attendance did begin to grow, but in the years that followed, a lack of new e-ticket attractions led to aspects of the park becoming stale. However, while Universal Studios stayed quiet on announcing new expansions to Islands of Adventure in the years after its launch, Disney's fumble of one of the biggest characters ever created would not only lead to Universal's exponential growth in the 2010s, but would change the theme park industry forever. Welcome back to another episode of Theme Park Lore, where today we'll be breaking down the history and lore of Universal Studios Florida's classic dark ride, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. While the Wizarding World of Harry Potter has become synonymous with Universal Studios since its launch in 2010, J.K. Rowling's characters weren't always planned for the park. After the success of the book series and the cultural phenomenon of the first 2 films, a theme park adaptation became inevitable. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter wasn't the first attempt at creating an attraction with the franchise, with IP owners Warner Brothers trying their hand at a short-lived walkthrough attraction in Australia that recreated sets from the first 2 films, but after its sudden closure, conversations began with other theme parks. With their track record behind them, Disney was the obvious first choice for Warner Brothers and Rowling, but problems and negotiations arose quickly. It's no secret that Rowling is a perfectionist, requiring creative control for almost everything her characters touch, and when Disney presented their Wizarding World proposal, it was met with disapproval. Pitching a Harry Potter take on Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters, utilizing an Omnimover ride system, and allowing guests to go through a Defense Against the Dark Arts class shooting targets with a wand, Disney also discussed creating a petting zoo of magical creature animatronics and a minimally themed restaurant. Rowling, insisting that guests had to feel like they truly entered the Wizarding World, was unhappy with Disney's planned inclusion of outside brands like Coca-Cola and merchandise in the area. With the land planned to be a small inclusion to the already built Fantasyland, Disney's Wizarding World would have been more of a wizarding area that wasn't up to Rowling standards. Frustrated with the negotiations, Warner Brothers and Rowling took a meeting with Universal Creative, who were more than happy to oblige. Having faced criticism for their lack of innovation since the release of Islands of Adventure in 1999, Universal Studios needed a home run to really take a bite out of Disney's market share. While Universal Creative had allegedly been interested in bringing Harry Potter characters to their parks years earlier with a stunt show, the proposal was never pitched because of J.K. Rowling's pending letter of intent to sign the rights over to Disney. However, with the theme park rights now up in the air, Universal was able to put together a pitch that would blow Disney's out of the water. With Universal happy to take in Rowling's feedback, their pitch shifted from a simple re-theme of the Lost Continent to creating an entirely new area of Islands of Adventure. Agreeing to a 20-acre recreation of Hogsmeade, a village with shops on the outskirts of Hogwarts, as well as building the titular castle which would house a state-of-the-art dark ride, Universal Studios, Warner Brothers, and Rowling signed a deal to license out Harry Potter characters to the parks. Investing a reported $265 million into the area, Universal Creative would painstakingly recreate locales from the books and films, making a theme park area with theming more intricate than any other park could offer. With the partnership announced on May 31st, 2007, and construction starting 7 months later, much of the Lost Continent closed to make way for the new land. Attractions like the Junior Coaster, the Flying Unicorn, were closed to later be re-themed to the Flight of the Hippogriff, and Dueling Dragons would close to be lightly re-themed to Goblet of Fire's Dragon Challenge. Officially opening on June 16th, 2010, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter instantly became one of the greatest theme park lands of all time. The area had fantastic shops, unique foods and iconic beverages, interactive elements with purchasable wands, and one of the most groundbreaking dark rides ever with Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. One of the things that makes Universal Creative as groundbreaking as as they are is their ability to not only create new technologies, but to constantly evolve and implement previous mechanics in new ways. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey utilizes an incredibly unique ride system, one that takes every aspect of a Universal ride and combines it to execute a never-before-seen experience. Forbidden Journey's ride system utilizes KUKA robotic arms, industrial robots originally intended for assembly lines in factories. While Forbidden Journey isn't the first time KUKA arms have been utilized at a Universal park, with the previous version of the Studio Tour using them to make cars fly, implementing them with what Universal called enchanted benches led to the most immersive experience in a Universal park. Mounted to the top of the robotic arm, the enchanted bench is able to synchronize with the rest of the attraction's physical props and dome projectors, while the arm moves along the track. With the ride's director previously working on attractions like The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, Shrek 4D, and Revenge of the Mummy, every aspect from the moving projection screens to large-scale animatronics to complex motion vehicles was implemented and improved for the ride. Entering through the gates of Hogwarts, guests make their way through a dark corridor encountering recreation of props from the films. Walking through the greenhouse, guests then pass several statues before coming across the first moving paintings of the queue. Reprising their roles from the films, screens are utilized to mimic various paintings that adorn the halls of Hogwarts. Entering Dumbledore's office, riders are welcomed to Hogwarts and are told to make their way to the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom. Walking into the next room, Harry, Ron, and Hermione emerge from an invisibility cloak to sneak guests into a Quidditch match. Then, making their way past a fat lady portrait guarding the Gryffindor common room, as well as more moving paintings, riders encounter an animatronic of the Sorting Hat, which then tells them safety information for the attraction. After entering the moving walkway and boarding the enchanted bench, the shoulder harness lowers and the ride begins. Speaking to riders through the enchanted bench's onboard speakers, Hermione dusts guests with Floo powder, allowing it to fly. Lifting off into the Floo network, riders are transported into the Astronomy Tower of Hogwarts, pushing past large physical props before entering the attraction's first dome scene. Flying with Harry and Ron, guests weave through the exterior of Hogwarts' towers and encounter Hagrid, who is searching for his lost dragon. Chasing riders, the Hungarian horntail dragon separates guests from Harry and Ron, and as fire is breathed towards the enchanted bench, the ride vehicle moves past the projection dome. Encountering a large dragon animatronic, guests are misted with fire before spinning into the Forbidden Forest. Moving past spiders of various sizes and being sprayed with water, a giant animatronic of the Whomping Willow Tree narrowly misses hitting guests before pushing them into the next projection dome. Finally making into the Quidditch match and reuniting with Harry and Ron, the game is interrupted by Dementors that chase you through the rafters and into the Chamber of Secrets. Entering the next physical set, several Dementors pass guests before a large Dementor animatronic gets directly into riders' faces. Mounted to its own KUKA arm, the Dementor is able to get as close as physically possible without colliding with the ride vehicle, allowing for a truly terrifying encounter. Moving into the last dome, Harry uses a Patronus spell to escape the Dementor, and as the walls cave in, guests escape the cave and fly towards Hogwarts. As the riders enter the gates of the castle once again, the enchanted bench leaves the dome and enters the last physical sets before saying goodbye to the characters you encountered along your journey. Traveling back through the Floo network, the enchanted bench lowers back onto the moving walkway where the shoulder restraints lift, allowing guests to exit the attraction through the castle's gift shop. Opening on June 18th, 2010 at Universal Studios' Islands of Adventure, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey was immediately met with widespread acclaim, with many considering it to be one of the greatest dark rides ever made. Alongside the launch of the Wizarding World as a whole at Universal Parks, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is not only a culmination of decades of work by Universal Creative, but was also the spark that reinvigorated the company in the 2010s. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey itself is fantastic, but the theming of the area surrounding the ride creates a sense of immersion never before seen in theme parks, and its success truly changed the industry forever. With the launch of the area causing a reported 36% jump in Islands of Adventure's attendance, Universal had not only succeeded in giving fans a reason to revisit the park, but also giving general theme park goers a reason to even consider going to a Universal park over Disney. The combination of timing, with the film's adaptation of the Deathly Hallows releasing later that year, and the franchise arguably at its peak, and the care put into every aspect of the area made the Wizarding World of Harry Potter truly magical. Following the success of Hogsmeade, Universal next sought out to clone its area into other parks, with Wizarding Worlds opening in Japan on July 15, 2014, and in Hollywood on April 7, 2016, and while these additions would only be the beginning of Universal's Harry Potter adaptations, they single-handedly brought Universal into the conversation as a true Disney competitor. The Wizarding World's success caused a shift in the industry, with highly themed licensed areas becoming the norm in recent years, and while many credit its launch to pushing Disney to create lands like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Pandora the World of Avatar, its impact changed the industry forever. With Islands Islands of Adventure already containing several themed areas, albeit none as complex as Hogsmeade, attention was then shifted to Universal Studios Florida's original park, which would later see its own Harry Potter edition in 2014, with its own host of attractions, stores, and food. Diagon Alley recreated the magic of Universal's first attempt by faithfully adapting its source material and pairing it with a great ride, but with the launch of Universal's new Florida expansion, Epic Universe, next year, it seems that they will once again be taking everything they learned and creating one of the greatest theme park destinations in the world. By combining the intricate theming and segmented areas of the Wizarding World with brand new IP never before explored by Universal, Epic Universe looks to turn the theme park industry on its head and raise the bar even higher. But none of this would have even been possible without the ingenuity and success of Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, serving as not only a culmination of decades of innovation, but also a make-or-break moment that pushed Universal into the limelight. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey continues to be one of the most unique attractions in Florida and changed theme parks forever. Let me know down in the comments what you think of Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you'd like to stick around for more theme park lore, and I'll see you in the next video.